So, hallo liebe Metal Hammer Leser und Maximum Metal DVD Zuschauer. Wir sitzen hier in München mit Rex Brown und Jimmy Bauer von den mächtigen Down. Sie sind nicht nur eine der letzten wenigen Supergroups, sondern auch eine große Band, die speziell durch ihre Einflüsse von Southern Rock gepaart mit Heavy Metal in der Gunst der Leute sehr weit vorne liegt. Und deswegen haben wir uns gedacht, wir sprechen mit den beiden über Southern Rock im Speziellen. Rex, can you name an album which you would classify to the genre Southern Rock, which is imminent to you and very special for you and very important?
Tres Hombres, ZZ Top.
Good record.
Being from Texas. Yeah, heard them on AM radio. Grew up on a small little peanut farm till I was about 10 years old. And so all you could get was, you didn't have FM radio back in the day. And like, you know, ZZ Top was like coming out the same time, a little bit before Skynyrd came out. So, you know, definitely ZZ Top. Because of, Texas has a lot of blues in it, you know.
And for you?
Lynyrd Skynyrd, Nothing Fancy. It's I think it's like their third or fourth record, and it's got just some really good songs on it. Am I Losing, Cheating Woman, Country Boy, just to me sums up Southern rock in one album.
Okay. What can you remember when the first time you came across this record? Was it like your older brother or your cousin, or I don't know?
No, it was actually in the early '90s. I mean, I always liked Skynyrd, but never had really heard anything but what they would play on the radio, you know. So was touring with I Hate God in a van, you know, and got nothing to do but listen to music. I bought Nothing Fancy and Give Me Back My Bullets on a cassette. Both one record on each side, and this never came out of the cassette player, man. Just I was blown away by their songwriting, and blown away by songs that weren't on the radio, you know, the obscure ones, you know.
And with you and the ZZ Top album, do you remember how you came across that?
No, I don't, because all I heard was on the radio, and then I moved into a big city where I'd met this guy, this cat that turned me on to all kinds of stuff. He was my age and lived down the street. And I want to say at that point, we were listening to, I want to say Street Survivor. And that, actually at that time, at that period, which would have been 76.
77, yeah.
So, I mean, we listened to that, and that was like, you know, we were listening to all kinds of different stuff during that period of time, you know, from, you know, the just good rock, you know, solid Aerosmith kind of, you know, and I was like, what, 10 or 11 years old, you know? Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I got to grow up in that kind of environment instead of missing it by, you know, like I think a lot of kids these years have like missed a whole generation of music, you know, because they've, I don't know, it's just, a lot of stuff that we were listening to in the 70s is kind of coming full circle. Especially, you know, I go back and I listen to all those old 70s records, and not necessarily, it doesn't have to be Southern rock, because I think everything comes naturally in music from the blues. Take Led Zeppelin, for instance. That they were from England, but they listened to a lot of old American blues, you know, South Delta,
Howlin' Wolf.
Yeah, and all those cats. So all these bands, when you talk about Southern rock, you're talking all blues influenced bands. But also, there's also different down. There's also the caliber of the prog rock and the metal rock that all you know, the five guys in the band and the influences that we have between the five of us and four, you know, very prominently distinct bands come from, and it's not a super group, it is just a group. of 5 individuals playing rock and roll.
In my introduction, I said that you're one of the last real supergroups, if you want to put it that way, you know, because nowadays there are a lot of bands which are entitled supergroups which are not.
Yeah, they suck. They suck.
You name it. And you just mentioned the Lynyrd Skynyrd album as which sums up Southern rock as such. When I get you right, or which is, let's say,
it's the most popular.
Well, growing up, my dad listened to like what they call outlaw country. Willie Nelson, David Allan Coe, Hank Williams Jr., Jerry Jeff Walker, Leon Russell, stuff like that. Really great songwriters. And Waylon Jennings, of course. And that had a big impact on me as a kid. But, you know, in my teenage years, got into like more like Kiss and stuff like that, you know, and you kind of forget about what you listen to, you know. I was like, man, I'm not in the country, you know. Mm-hmm. And it really came back, you know. I mean, growing up, going to rodeos as a kid, seeing Willie Nelson live as a kid, and just doing things that the culture of the South does, you know, go camping, hunting, fishing, you know, and I think what Rex is trying to say is that you know, to be labeled a Southern rock band, you know, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. We are from the South and we are a rock band.
Yes.
But there's a lot of different elements, and to me, it's a lifestyle, you know.
Mm-hmm. And now we come directly to Down. You already mentioned a lot of albums, but when it comes to your personal, let's say, musical development and personal approach concerning songwriting for Down, mm-hmm. What would you name some artists or maybe some musicians that have a vital part on your personal approach to songwriting?
When we first got Down together, we were all really starting to get into like Witchfinder General, St. Vitus, The Obsessed, you know, bands like that, and Trapeze, you know, and that we not wanted to be like that, but that, you know, but yeah, we did, you know.
As some sort of inspiration, so to say, maybe.
Yeah, you know, just good songwriting, good, you know, vocals where you sing, mm-hmm. you know, it's not screaming. Because at that time, you know, we were all in bands, and all our singers, you know, even Phil, mm-hmm. you know, was doing that as well. And just the idea of, you know, having a band that we could express ourselves of this new music we had gotten into, you know. So, yeah, bands like that.